MCAT 2015 Cram Physical Foundations question. Flashcard 60. Ferry crossing the Mississippi River. Alright. A portion of the Mississippi River has a velocity of 1 meters per second. In still water, the ferry travels with a velocity of 1.4 meters per second. The ferry must transport the residents directly across the 1,600-meter river span. Which of the following correctly describes the motion of the ferry? A. The ferry will take about a half an hour to cross the river at a relative velocity of 10 meters per second. B. The ferry must launch upstream at an angle of 45 degrees from the shore with a velocity of 1.4 meters per second. C. The ferry can launch 90 degrees if it travels at its maximum velocity. Or D. The ferry will take about half an hour to cross the river at its current velocity of 1.4 meters per second. I'll give you a moment to think. This is actually not that difficult. It just takes realizing something, okay? All right. Okay, so in order to cross the river at a point directly across the street, the ferry must launch upstream. While this may not be immediately apparent, you have to understand what the value 1.4 signifies, okay? It's actually the square root of 2. So this vector, this magnitude, is the square root of 2, okay? And this creates the relationship for a 45, 45, 90-degree triangle. So if we had an imaginary vertical right here, then we would have 1 meter per second, like we have here, and another vertical right here at 1 meter per second, okay? So where the ratio of the sides, again, is radical 2, or approximately 1.4, and then 1, and then the missing link here would be a 1 meter per second, okay? Therefore, the ferry obviously has to launch at an angle of 45 degrees from the shore. As a result, the velocity of the boat relative to the earth, here goes that last vertical, would have to be 1 meter per second. So traveling 1,600 meters at that speed, not 10 meters per second as stated in answer choice A, will take 1,600 seconds. So if you're traveling at 1 meter per second, you're going to take 1,600 seconds to get across, okay? Or that's about 27 minutes, but that's not necessarily the question that they're asking. The correct answer would be obviously answer choice B, that the ferry must launch at an angle of 45 degrees from the shore with a velocity of 1.4 meters per second. And this just took, remembering your side ratios of your special angles from trigonometry. Okay? All right, thanks for tuning in.